I'm here with Cheryl Holz, and Cheryl is bringing us a beautiful night sky. It's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
And you said it's made with alcohol ink?
Yes, I'm going to be working with alcohol ink, some acrylic sprays on opaque white craft film.
Cool, let's do it.
Yeah. So I think it's really good practice whenever I start a piece or a series to gather inspirational stuff. So for a night sky, the best thing to do is pack everybody up and go to the North Woods. But not practical. So next best thing is books. And this book is one of my favorites. And the cover was also kind of an impetus for this piece. And if you take a look at some of the pictures that are coming out of the Hubble, it rivals any abstract art that's out there.
They're gorgeous.
And the intention is not to recreate this exactly and be really tight, but I do think it filters into your subconscious and then it comes out through your work.
I agree.
So I think it's an important step.
Cool. So how do we get started?
Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to use the opaque white craft film. And one of the things we're going to use to move around the alcohol is gravity. And so since this is flexible, what I want to do is I want to adhere it onto a rigid support with just some double-sided tape. It's just a temporary thing.
And obviously, because it's craft film, it's basically plastic. And when you work with alcohol ink, I believe you want something, right?
Non-porous gives you some really fun options as far as blending and spreading and all that type of good stuff, yeah. So my goal is to get that kind of gradation from the horizon line where the sun is setting up to that deep dark black sky. So to do that, I have to work pretty quickly. Alcohol inks dry very quickly, so you gotta have everything open, ready to go.
Okay.
Where I'm gonna start is I'm gonna take the extender. Extender does a couple things. Extender extends your inks, obviously, but it also helps things blend and flow. So I'm just squirting it on at random, and then I'm spreading it around with my finger, and I'm gonna start with the deepest, darkest part.
And I can see that you're tilting that board all around as you're moving.
I'm trying to spread it around, yeah. Oops, splat a little, that's all right. So I'm just trying to spread it, and I also want it to start to kind of mix and flow together.
I can even see some of that alcohol drying already. It's amazing how fast it dries.
I know, which is a good thing and a bad thing, depending on what you're doing.
Well, I assume also if you live in a drier climate, you're gonna have less time. If you live somewhere super humid, you're gonna have more time. But I see you can keep putting the extender on.
So I'm gonna put the extender on. Oops, get a cleaner finger there. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of keep working my way down my sky. Keep it moving, keep it moving.
Rocking and rolling, as they say, right?
Now we're getting into the good stuff. We're going magenta.
Well, it's cool how the colors blend, and yet at the same time, it's not like the black drifts all the way down into the bottom or anything.
That's because I'm going side to side, but now, for now, I'm going to use finger as a tool. Get that down.
It's the greatest tool you have. You always have it with you.
Exactly. All right, and now I'm going to tilt it this way, and everything is just going to kind of run down towards the sunset.
I see.
And then as soon as it's where you want it, you flatten it out. And then you do, it's real common for some to kind of collect at the bottom, so you can kind of work that out. Otherwise, it might collect, and you could just keep rocking it until it is the way you want it.
Super
But it'll keep flowing, so you just kind of want to keep monitoring and adding. Okay?
I'll take that for you.
Okay, there you go. So, let that dry.
Okay.
I love the idea of silhouettes, so what I did is print out just on some inkjet clear film on the computer, some pine trees, okay? So I love those silhouettes. And I printed them out and I played around with scale, but this is where they're gonna fit in there. And so I just kind of want to keep that in mind because I want to keep that area clear because I want that contrast between the sky and the trees. And so right now, just to remind me later, I'm gonna take just, it's a watercolor marker, and I'm just gonna kind of make a couple registration marks just to kind of remind me that's where the edges are. Okay,
cool. I'll take that for you.
That will come in handy later. Okay, so now we get into the fun part. We are gonna start squirting on some art spray.
I thought it was pretty fun already.
It gets better than this, Julie.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm using my hand just kind of as a shield, and then I'm gonna
a reason to wear gloves.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna drop in some of this rainbow, which is an additive that, as you can see, it gets iridescent. And any color you add it to, yeah.
So you're mixing basically an acrylic spray with an alcohol ink product, and they're okay being mixed. You don't have to worry about it.
Well, what they're doing is they're pushing and they're pulling, and you get some really cool effects. And just like out in space, there's a lot of push and pull and contrast and explosions.
So this is kind of like oil and water, right? They're sort of not wanting to get together that much.
Right, right. And so I'm trying to recreate what's happening out in space right here on a little scale.
Cool.
So yeah, and since the it does use some acrylic, it'll take a little bit longer to dry.
Okay.
So
thank you.
We won't wait for
We
paint
won't
to
wait
dry.
for that.
We're on to the next thing. Okay, so now I love what's happening. There's a lot of loose, random explosions, but I want to get a little bit more specific. So I'm going to use a white paint pen. Shake it well.
I love using a white pen. I think it just makes everything pop. There's something about that clean, clear color that really makes your eye just go straight to it.
And I'm just gonna press it down, make sure we got something flowing. And then you can be really specific if you want to put in like a certain constellation, you want to put in the Great Bear, or you just want to go.
So you could really make this 100% realistic and be like what your view of the sky is, and then it becomes almost like a personal memory.
And then where's my stick? I don't know. Anyhow, use the end of the paintbrush, and you could just kind of pull out, because if you look at stars, the light kind of travels out in these rays. And so you can add a little bit more in there.
That's cool, and I can actually see in some of your inspiration photos exactly where we can see that star shape really pulling out. Very neat.
Now I want to add a moon in here, okay? Now it could be a waxing moon, it could be a waning moon. I'm going to use a cotton swab, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out part of it. So it looks like there's just a portion there. So maybe this is
so like a little crescent.
Moon.
What a clever way to do a crescent so that you don't have to worry about that shape.
Yeah. And a lot of times that is how it looks when it's out there.
Absolutely.
It's partially there and partially not. And you could keep doing that ad nauseum, and I do. But now we got to finish it up. So,
let's do it.
Okay, so that this that we auditioned earlier, we said, okay, we want it right around there.
Yeah.
What I did is I used the same image, but you can print it on an adhesive back clear computer film.
So like a sticker.
Yeah.
Okay.
I made a sticker. And the great thing is the rest of it is clear except for where the trees are. So I won't be covering up or losing any of my sky.
Okay.
So those little registration marks that I made earlier, it's nice. I can kind of line it up on here. And so then I know approximately, I'm gonna make it just a little bit larger because it's easier to trim off than to.
Okay, and I assume too by covering up all that alcohol ink and acrylic ink, you're actually kind of saving and preserving it too under there so nothing can damage it.
It's like a protective layer on top, yep, absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna peel it off, which is tricky with gloves.
It is, you want me to help you? Oh no, you're okay.
I got it. Okay, so I'm gonna use those registration marks. And I'm going to line it up. And then this protective backing also is nice to protect it when I want to go ahead and burnish and make sure that it's all
You want to make sure there's no air bubbles, that you've got everything smooth through there.
Good, and it's easier to go center out. And then there we go. So now all we have to do is trim out the edges.
So I can see the finished one is absolutely gorgeous, and you've brought some other examples as well that are equally beautiful. And so really, whatever your mood is, whether it's sunset or sunrise or stars, you've got something for us, Cheryl. Yeah.